In this video, we are going to continue the matter part, and this is part 2. So, let's start. In this, we will be discussing about the physical nature of matter. The first one is particles of matter are very small. Yes, the particles of matter are very small. If you put a drop of blue ink into a 500 ml of water, the color of water will turn into blue. Again, take a drop of this solution and put it in another 500 ml of water. Again, the water will turn to blue. However, the blue color fades. This shows that a drop of ink contains millions of particles, which in turn shows that the particles of matter are very small. Next, matter is made up of particles. Yes, matter is made up of particles. Every matter is composed of several similar repeating units called particles. The nature of particles and physical forces among them determine the nature of the matter. Every particle of matter is bonded to other particles due to the attractive force among them. Every particle of matter has its own energy to move. For example, if we dissolve salt in water, the particles of salt get into the spaces between the particles of water. Next, particles of matter attract each other. Yes, all the materials looks united and constructed because their constituting particles are assembled. A question arises that why particles assemble together? The answer is attractive force. Every particle of matter exerts an attractive force to its neighboring particles, and hence they assemble together. Efficiency of their forces vary from for the different types of materials. These forces also predict the size and shape of the material. Next is the particles of matter have space between them. Yes. Every matter of different states is formed by the union of a number of constituting particles which possesses interstitial spaces between them. This space may vary in different matters because of the different arrangements and the nature of particles. The space between two neighboring particles units is called as interstitial space, or you can simply call it interparticle space. Next, particles of matter are continuously moving. Okay, take an example like if you drop if you put a drop of ink into water and keep it undisturbed for some time, you will find later on that ink has spread throughout the water. This is because the particles of ink keep on moving. So the particles of matter move continuously. Their movement depends upon the nature of matter, the physical forces operating between them, and the kinetic energy of the particles. What is this kinetic energy? In the later videos, we will be discussing about that. Simply, you can say the movement, the motion of the particles tends to move them apart. This is simply called as kinetic energy. So let's take another example for this only. When some crystals of copper sulfate are added to a beaker containing hot water and some of its crystals to another beaker containing cold water, it is observed that the rate of mixing of copper sulfate is higher in hot water than in cold water. Why? Because the kinetic energy of particles increases with the increase in temperature. This is very important. I'm telling it again. The kinetic energy of particles increases with the increase in temperature. So let's see the next. Next is the physical state of matter depends upon two things, or what you can say two factors. First is the interparticle force of attraction. Now what is it? Okay, first, according to the modern classification, the matter is made up of particles like atoms or molecules, which are attracted towards each other through the interparticle forces. It is known as interparticle force of attraction. I hope you understood. And the simply the kinetic energy is the simply motion of the particles which tends to move them is called the kinetic energy. Now this is just some knowledge bites, like density of ice is less than water. Why? Because it has a cage like structure. You will see that the ice is in the shape of cuboid or cube. They have a cage like structures. That is why the density of ice is less than water. Next is the density of water is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius. It is just it is not having any explanation anything. It is just a note. So I hope you all have understood this video. So soon we will meet in another videos. So till then, keep tracking.